I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the day, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, everything ain't pretty, but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome to Spike Kool-Aid, a late afternoon edition for Monday, December 11, 2023. Today was my son's first day back to school after being sick for 2 weeks. So your boy had to catch up on some Z's, man, and I'm a one-man show. But I figured, and I was going to just skip today, but I figured that you guys needed to get some stuff off your chest. So I'm here to help us do that. All right, that was the whole goal of this channel, is to compete with Woodward Sports and all the other people that do this as well. You know what? I can actually make this into a podcast, so I think I'm going to do that. Let's start. Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Monday, December 11, 2023. We're going to try something new. Today, we're going to do this in audio form as well, so this should be fun as far as how this thing goes. So if you are listening on whatever platform this is, hopefully this is the start of something really special. Now, I will be referring to the YouTube chat in this podcast, so that is something you probably are going to have to get used to. With that being said, let's pop out the chat here on YouTube and see who's in the building. I know we got a late show, kind of impromptu, but I want to talk to y'all. What's up, Purple Remains? Braylon in the building. We got Rick as well. The Dern, what's up, my guy? Orlando says, I hope it's a better day for y'all. Patty in the building. What's up, my man? What's up, Mike? What is going on, Joey? Yo. So, again, this is a one-man show. This, for those of you who don't know, Syndicate Sports Detroit is something that I put together with actual Detroit fans in mind. So, not former players and all that other stuff, but real Detroit fans who want to talk sports, no matter what that is. Detroit Lions, Detroit Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan Wolverines. I might start doing some Michigan content coming up in the future. But, we're always trying to expand. So this offseason for the Detroit Lions, I'm going to try to expand and get more people brought on. The thing is that it's hard to get people to come and work. Even now, before the pandemic and after the pandemic, people are used to instant gratification. And in this business, this is something that you have to really stick your head down and grind. And we don't get enough of those people. So my goal in the offseason is to build up the brand and hopefully have 10K by this time next year. But we got to talk about it, man. We got to talk about the Detroit Lions. We have to talk about where they are. Dan Campbell said today in a press conference that he's not worried about Jared Goff. He's not worried about the Detroit Lions like the fan base is. One thing that Dan Campbell keeps repeating is that outside of the building, he knows what's going on, right? When he took this job, him and Brad Holmes took this job, they knew what they were getting themselves into. That's why I don't have any sympathy for them. I don't have any sympathy for them and how we feel, and the fact that we are coming and expecting more. We're coming for heads. We're coming for necks because we are expecting more. And I refuse to settle at any point in life. I'm not going to settle with the Detroit Lions. Lions need to be better. They have a primo opportunity. And right now, the fan base is in, I'm talking about man on a ledge mode. They're at the point where it's amazing how last week I was saying 9-3. We got that win against the Saints. And you know what the response was? We're 9-3. We're fine. We're 9-3. We're fine. Well, all of a sudden, we're 9-4. We lose to a team that was 4 games under 500. We should have lost to that same team 3 weeks ago. We should have lost to the New Orleans Saints after blowing a 21-point lead, right? The flaws on this team are glaring. They're glaring. And as I've told you guys before, winning covers everything. It does not cure anything. And it's amazing how when you win, things look a lot brighter than when you lose, especially the way the Lions did yesterday. Now, the first order of business is we got to talk about it. So here on YouTube, we're going to talk about Jared Goff, and I'm sick to death of talking about this guy. I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about him. Dan Campbell said today in his press conference that he needs to clean some stuff up, but it was something that he said that I really was like, you know what? I wonder is the fan base really paying attention to what he's saying? He said that the 2 interceptions that Jared Goff threw yesterday were both situations that he was okay with. He was okay with the 4th and 24, trying to get a pass interference. He was okay with that, right? We watched the game. We were inside the 40-yard line. If we punt and it goes for a touchback, it's going to be a net gain of 20 yards. I think we were at the 45, right? So we're just ready to throw this dude out. Jared Goff currently is our best chance of going anywhere this year. Now, I can't speak for next year and the year after that. I know you guys want to see Hendon. You want to see something different. But I'm here to tell you that you may have to wait a little longer. A lot of people are thinking a quarterback controversy is brewing. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I looked at the turnovers, and Jared Goff is up there. You know who's ahead of him? Patrick Mahomes. Who's ahead of him is Josh Allen. Who's right below him is Jalen Hurts and Trevor Lawrence. Right? So when are we going to put the blame everywhere and not just put it simply on Jared Goff? So if you're listening to this in podcast form, I am going to be referring to people in the chat, and that's what you're going to hear. Justin May, the rapper, says, obsessed Detroit Lions fan here from Rochester Hills, Michigan. Go Lions. Win us a Super Bowl before the day that I die, please. Let me see if this actually works, because last time it didn't. Oh, my God. Okay, so it does. The sound pad does work. On the old system that I was using, that doesn't work when you use it. Art says, hey, Honolulu, blue skies ahead. That is 100%. Braylon says, Lions need to regroup, refocus, and recover. I like that, man. I really, truly do. Art says, I watched the game again, and it didn't look as bad as I remember. 3 major plays, and we win that game. Goff hits J-Mo. Gibbs catches that screen, missed TD, intentional grounding, no call. And that's what I was saying, is that we know as Lions fans, you have to be better than the refs. You have to be better than the refs, because if you're not, you're probably going to lose. Jared Goff had a miserable day, but he wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only one. And we're going to talk about something a little later in the show. But for me, Jared Goff is my quarterback. I think he does give us the best chance of winning. And we're not going to see Hendon Hooker anytime this year. It's been 2 weeks since he's been brought up from the NFI list. All right. He has 1 more week, and the Lions have to decide what they're going to do with him. What are they going to do? Are they going to put him on the active roster, or are they going to shelve him for the year? And I think it's going to be the latter. They're going to put him up. I don't see us moving on from Jared Goff. Now you have to consider, do you want them to extend him? I say yes. Jared Goff is coming on the last year of his deal. Can we do something that we've never done? And the whole time I've been watching the Lions, you know what we've never done? Let me take you back to 2003, Twinkle Toes, Joey Harrington. What happened? Came in, instantly was the quarterback of the Detroit Lions, and is scarred for life because of it. Matthew Stafford. Let's go back to babyface Stafford. What happened then? Came in after a few games. I think John Kitna, somebody was here. Dante Culpepper, one of them. After a few games, Matthew Stafford was the starter. Hendon Hooker has no experience this year. He was just allowed to practice with the team and be coached by the team. Why are we going to expect him to come in and take over? I want him to marinate, just like Jordan Love before him with the Green Bay Packers, just like Jalen Hurts. The Detroit Lions are finally in a good place. Let's not mess up another potential quarterback. Whether we move on from Jared Goff, I have no control of that. And at this point, maybe we should. Maybe we should. Let Jared Goff fly away, man. That's one thing. It's like running a good person out of town. We got a good thing in Jared Goff. Every single quarterback turns the ball over, right? It's just something about him that you don't like. So my thoughts are Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are confident in Jared Goff. But we're going to see. This offseason is going to tell us a lot. If they don't extend him by the beginning of free agency or at the beginning of free agency, then we know how they really feel. And at that point, then we'll have a discussion there. So let me know what you think as far as Jared Goff. Is it time to move on? Is it time to... Hendon Hooker is not going to play this year, but next year there could be some type of controversy brewing. Let me know. All right, what's up? Directed by Jeffrey. Goff has been off since the Chargers game. Okay. I love that logic. And this is not directed at you. I love that logic. And it was so many places I wanted to go in that segment. For those of you listening in podcast form, I do segments. I convert those into videos. I'm going to try to keep a structure so that you guys can follow along as well. We'll see how this thing goes, and then we'll take it from there. Maybe I might just have to do 2 separate shows. D-Town Heat says, I'm not giving up on Goff, but I do think Goff is not part of the problem. But wait, if you think Goff is not part of the problem, then you're delusional. Well, you might as well put that on 9 out of 10 Lions fans, because now all of a sudden we're not making the playoffs. Like, are you serious? I make videos every single day on this platform, and I don't know. You know what? I'm going to say something, and it's going to be controversial, but I'm going to say something. Joey says you can't compare Goff to these other QBs because they make plays that can change the game. I'm worried about the future, not trying to be pessimistic, but with the growth we are seeing in our division. Well, compare him to who? The rest of the division? Is that what you're saying? Braylon says, I will never give up on Goff. Well, you must be one of the few. Sir Ken in the building says, I still believe the Lions 100%, period, unless the defense gets more help, though. This season is the ceiling. No. Let JG and Hendon battle out next season. The best man win, John. That's probably what's going to happen. That's probably what's going to happen. But I'll tell you what, I think even if they extend Jared Goff, there's still a battle that can happen. But here's the thing. We talk about confidence, right? We talk about confidence. And if Jared Goff, if you're a quarterback of the National Football League, you should always have that edge. If you're a starter, you should always want to have that edge, right? And one of the things about Matthew Stafford that annoyed me, that is not the issue now with Jared Goff, is we never had anybody to push him. Am I glad we got Hendon Hooker to do that to Jared Goff? Absolutely. Because everybody needs competition. I'm here on YouTube, and it's a new Lions creator born every single day. As a matter of fact, one was just born right now, and it keeps me on my toes. All right. So competition is always a good thing. But at the same time, is that competition going to lead to a lack of confidence for our starting quarterback? And as far as Jared Goff, man, let's not talk about, are we not going to talk about, like you said, Jahmyr Gibbs dropping a go-ahead touchdown, a walk-in touchdown? Are we not going to talk about Mr. Reliable, never drops anything, St. Brown, uncharacteristically dropped 3 consecutive balls? It was unreal. It was almost like yesterday, the guys knew it was their last outdoor game, and they just they were going through the motions. I have no idea what happened yesterday. Who are you going to blame when Goff not there? Patty, we're going to blame Hendon Hooker and the guy after him and the guy after him and the guy after him. That's just how we do. That's just how we do. Lions Fan Syndicate on YouTube gave us a super chat of $1.99. Says, how many wins in the last 4 games? For me, 2 or 3. That's a good question. We are going to talk about that as well. He is absolutely part of the problem. The coaches are getting out-schemed. O-line has been regressing and affecting Goff's play. Goff is top 10. QBs like Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, all turn the ball over. They're still making plays that change games. Okay, Joey. So this is a question that I have for the chat. You want a game changer, right? You don't want, so I'm assuming, would it be safe to say that Jared Goff is a game manager? You want a game changer. I'll say this, and while I wait on your comment, is I saw something yesterday that I was a little appalled by. I really was. And that's Patrick Mahomes, the golden boy of the NFL, complaining about the officiating. Never hear that from Jared Goff. Never hear it from Jared Goff. Yesterday's game was an officiating nightmare. It really was. How many times? Never says anything. And I thought, oh, wow, the NFL golden boy now is on the other side of those calls, right? He had the nerve to complain to Josh Allen when that same team beat Josh Allen with 13 seconds left. They never got to see the ball at in overtime. So I don't know, man. But again, do you guys think that Jared Goff is comparable to Alex Smith? That's what I want to know. Man, all the players look like they were drinking heavy before the game, says Evan on YouTube. Bookmark me. We are losing the division and missing the playoffs. That's another one, Ryan. We're going to go into another segment here on YouTube. The Lions fan base is in shambles right now. They are totally. Ryan's comment says, bookmark me. We are losing the division and missing the playoffs. Ryan, I've seen that all day and all night from 4:15 yesterday to right now. Your post in the comment section. I have seen that. Lions fans believe it. They believe it. And I'm here to tell you that's not going to happen. The Lions are going to win the NFC North. They are going to host a playoff game. Both of those things will happen this year. 100%. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think that we've fallen apart. I think that the issue is becoming clear. And I was going to say this, and you guys are not going to like this, all right? I am not okay with losing. I hate it. I hate it in life, period. I'm being a Lions fan, having stretches of 15 games in a row that you've lost. I'm going to take you back to 2021, right? 2021 heading into the 2021 season. Lions were 0-10-1. It had been 1 year to the day since the Lions won a playoff game. That day being the day that after Matt Patricia was fired, that game when Darrell Bevell won his first and only game as interim head coach. 1 year later to the day we won another game. We didn't win any time between that. And I see right now that the Lions right now have not lost 2 in a row. They have not lost 2 in a row in over a year. So we have a streak on the positive side of things. And I think Dan Campbell said it today in his press conference, we'll be ready. And you guys notice when Dan Campbell say he'll be ready, they come out ready. Dan Campbell knows they dropped the ball. Lions dropped the ball yesterday. And he's going to come out. These guys are back home for the first time since Thanksgiving. And at this point, will be 3 weeks. The second time that they had a 3-week gap between being at home. They're going to come out and play. Denver Broncos playing some good football, but they're going to come out and play. But I don't think that the division is lost. And I don't think that they're not going to make the playoffs. You would have to have a colossal collapse in order not to make the playoffs. Going into Sunday's game, there was a greater than 98% chance that the Detroit Lions would make the playoffs. That doesn't go away. Did it decrease? It did. But it's still probably 90%, 87%. Here's how the Detroit Lions, they dropped the ball. Now, actually, I saw somewhere on Twitter that the Detroit Lions have a playoff clinching scenario with the right number of things happening. They can clinch a playoff spot, so we can tuck that away, right? But here's how the Detroit Lions can guarantee the division and a home playoff game, all right? We blew it last night. We blew it, but we can redeem ourselves. We need a Green Bay loss today. A Green Bay loss. I saw that Tyrod Taylor is playing tonight. That's going to be better than what we had before, okay? What they had before being the New York Giants. We need them to lose tonight. We also need to take care of business on Saturday against the Denver Broncos. And if that happens, no matter what the Minnesota Vikings do on Sunday, the Lions could be playing for the division in Minnesota week 16. That's probably what's going to happen. If that happens, Lions secure the NFC North for the first time ever. So it's not over. The sky is not falling. This team has its flaws. It has his deficiencies. And it's up to Brad Holmes to fix those in the offseason. All right. But maybe y'all will actually pay attention this time around. Man. DC Grit, if we miss the playoffs, heads are going to roll. Campbell will have to clean house to save his job. The coaching staff cannot adjust. They don't take accountability, and there's no changes coming. Well, I heard something earlier today that y'all going to be mad about. You guys are going to be mad. Lorenzo says, how many more weapons can Goff get? How much better can we make the O-line? Then we have to pay the guy on top of that. Makes no sense. Okay, Lorenzo. Let's break that down. How many more weapons can Goff get? Okay. He's got quite a bit, right? He's got quite a bit. All right. So we're good there. How much better can we make the O-line? What did they do yesterday? Jared Goff was sacked 4 times. 4 times. Graham Glasgow is in for Frank Ragnow. Are we really? Our offensive line is okay. We actually need Taylor Decker is suspect. Taylor Decker is suspect. Let's not act like he's not. All right. So we really doing this? We're really doing this. So now, see, and this is the problem with not building a team. If you don't build a team, this is the issue. But let's do this. And the last part of that, what's the last part of your question? Then we have to pay the guy on top of that. Okay. All right. So we're going to say that everything was good yesterday. Everything was good yesterday. Okay, Joey says Goff is a game manager and doesn't anybody realize that the Rams gave us multiple first round picks to take Goff? You can talk trash all you want about Stafford, and he went into Baltimore and you're gonna say almost and cooked. Yeah, you know what? And I was gonna say that too. Like when I saw him, only thing that could have happened for Lions fans is he won that game. He won that game. So I already knew that was coming, Joey. Thomas says, Goff apologist. We are not the 48ers. That's funny. Does Goff play defense? No matter what, Goff will always get the crap. LOL. Either you love him or hate him. That is true indeed. All 4 were given to Decker. They had about 10 false starts yesterday. Decker is getting exposed. Taylor Decker has been crap against solid edge rushers, man. He's getting killed. Started against Rashawn Gary. The only good thing, says Ryan, that Patricia gave us was a solid O-line, but now that's not even a strong suit anymore. Indeed. The Lions have no clue, says Joseph. They have not met my expectations. William says, it's not about liking Goff. It's about him not playing well and carrying the team, which an elite QB has to do. Why? Because he can't expect help from the defense. Okay. All right, William, and my podcast listeners in audio form, let's talk about that. This is so difficult for me. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. I make videos every day about the Detroit Lions. I look deep. I look past the surface. It's like I told you last week, the Lions, I was probably one of the few people unhappy that we won. And you know what? I'm going to say something controversial. The Lions lost to the Chicago Bears, a team 4 games under 500, and I'm glad they did. You know why? Because its fan base needed a rude awakening. The problem is not Jared Goff. Jared Goff is part of the problem when he turns the ball over, all right? But it's much more than that. Yesterday, we talked about, I saw on Twitter that everybody wants to focus on Ben Johnson. Everybody's ragging on the defense. Ben Johnson scored. They didn't score in the second half. Yeah, they didn't. One time. Yesterday. Right? Meaning consistently, Aaron Glenn is giving up 28 plus points. And you know what I'm going to hear? Oh, it's hard when you give the defense, you give them a short field. Nobody was saying that when the Chargers put up 38 points. Right? Are we being serious here? I no longer care, people. I don't care. I have no say what the Detroit Lions do. I don't care. I have seen this before. I've been watching this team since half of Barry's career, and it's always the same thing. It's always somebody's problem. One man is going to get all the blame. You know who I'm blaming? Brad Holmes. I'm blaming him. That's what I'm doing. 100%. I'm blaming Dan Campbell for a dumb challenge. I'm blaming Aiden Hutchinson for jumping off sides on a 4th and 13. I'm blaming Jerry Jacobs for being a trash cornerback. I'm blaming the entire team, the whole team. We're asking Jared Goff to carry? Really? Patrick Mahomes has Travis Kelce and Kadarius Toney. So he's supposed to carry that team, right? That didn't happen yesterday. We got a better record than them, and we beat them. That's what I'm saying. It's okay to say what you want and what you don't want. And obviously, I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about it. Put in Hendon Hooker. But are we really doing this? Last week, you know who won us the game against the Chargers? The offense. You know who won us most of our games is the offense. And the defense makes one play at the end of the game. That's what we're doing. I really don't know, But I'm glad we lost yesterday because it gave the fan base, it awoken them. They came to life and they saw what I see, but they want to put everything on JG, and that's not the case. Winning covers everything. See, when you win and you scrape by, everything is fine. When you lose to the lowly Chicago Bears, now your hair is on fire. I'm glad they lost yesterday because this fan base needs to be kicked in the tail. The Lions are a good team. They're not a great team. The Lions would be fortunate to make it. If they win the first playoff round, it's because they were at home. They got to go anywhere else. Levi, Philly, they probably packing their bags and coming home. Right? It amazes me. It amazes me how this fan base is. I've seen it from the very beginning. No pass rush, no nothing. No pass rush, no nothing. The highest guy on our team on defense has 6 sacks. They gave him, no, he has 6.5. 6.5. Josh Allen has 13.5. He has double that. Literally double that. I can't, man. This team got so many holes, and they need to get better. So I'm not going to do this, but I'm glad they lost. I'm glad the team lost because it seems like they needed a kick in the tail. Oh, Lord Jesus. We kick words around, but the guy hasn't played well in a month. No, I disagree with that. William H., how did we win the Chargers game? Are we doing this? Okay, my wife is on the phone, so I have to relax. Hold on. All right. Oh, yeah. We really doing this? That's what I understand with y'all. Are we really doing this? The guy hasn't played well in a month. How about the Chargers game? How about the fact that the last 2 games he had no turnovers? 0. What are we doing? What are we doing here? That's what y'all want to blame somebody. Blame somebody. But at least put it where it belongs. And it belongs on everybody. It belongs on Brad Holmes. It belongs on Aaron Glenn. It belongs on Ben Johnson. It belongs on Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, the entire team. What are we doing here? We've been kicked in the tail for so many years. We don't need a Bears loss to wake up. Well, D-Town, obviously we do because, I heard last week, 9-3, we're fine. We're fine. This team is fine. Are you kidding? Bro? I'm not doing this. And for those of you who want to know what happened in podcasts, I put on my Prime 21s. That's what I did. They actually denied me for a sponsorship. So, yeah, I'm feeling some type of way. Didn't give me a reason, but they denied me. So that's the last time I promote their glasses, but I'm still going to rock them. It's not like Goff shouldn't be blamed. He's been horrible 3 of the last 4 weeks. However, again, this 3-game stretch in a 17-game season, he sucks the last couple of games, then he'll go. Brad Holmes, so cheap. We have way too many holes in our people always wanting the new shiny thing. No patience. there's a hint of adversity. These Goff haters just, okay, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask all y'all a question. And this is real. I want to know the real answer. Why do you give Brad Holmes, why is Brad Holmes given more time than Jared Goff? Why do you give him more time than Jared Goff? There's plenty of blame to go around, says Hatters, on the offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. Offense needs to take care of the ball better, and defense needs to get off the field on third down. Please let AG go. I'm reading comments in the offseason, and look at Brian Flores and what he is doing with less talent. Well, he does have a guy that has 12 and a half sacks over there, so that contributes to a lot. Okay, but if he continues turning it over for these last couple of games, he won't be here in 2025. It'll be Hendon Hooker's team. At this point, Super, why not? I'm tired. Just let Hendon take over. Let him take over. That way everybody can shut up. Like, seriously, shut up. Bring in Hendon Hooker, let him do what he do, and let's go from there. And I can't wait till he get the same thing. I can't wait. Like I said, I'm glad we lost yesterday because his fan base needs a rude awakening. Rock Dawn in the building. What's up, man? Says, hey, Hatter's house, where you been? Oh, he everywhere, bro. Goff just gave the Lions a discount on his next contract. It isn't that bad for the Lions. Lions were horrible. Lions were horrible. This is team loss, but I got a question. What do we if we move on from Jared Goff and Hooker turns out to be a stinker? Well, I don't have the answer for that. Hendon Hooker is the answer. He's the answer. I don't understand why don't we see what's happening? Why don't we see that history is repeating itself? Why do we see, again, we're blaming another quarterback? I'm telling you, man, it grinds my gears. Nobody talked about Stafford like this. Nobody. Stafford has 9 interceptions in less games than Jared Goff. He's played less games than Jared Goff, and he's got 9 INTs. One thing I liked about Matthew Stafford, he did not care what you thought. Stafford didn't have a confidence issue at all. He would throw a pick, throw another pick, and throw another pick, and then come out there and throw the same exact pass. Jared Goff, man, it seemed like his confidence get rocked way too easy. And now he's on the sideline, head down, body language all miserable. Stafford, man, he didn't care. He going to throw another pick, a pick 6, and come out there and throw the same pass. Maybe Jared don't have the killer instinct. Slow, what's up, bro? Says, any calls today? You know what, man? I have not opened the phone lines for this show. Eventually, I plan to. That was the plan. I think when we get a big enough audience, then I'll open the show. Absolutely. The plan is to have an actual show with segments and things like that. So it's coming, man. Why do we only build one side of the trench? That's funny. Good year to draft quarterback. What Stafford got to do with the team this season? Nothing. He has nothing to do with the team this season. But what I'm saying to you, Lorenzo, is the same thing is happening that happened with Stafford. He was the problem. Does nobody remembers that? Does anybody remember that Stafford was the problem? Or do we have selective memories? Stafford was the problem, remember? Everybody wanted him out. And then next time when they ask you where you from, you want the Detroit Rams, bro? That's what we doing? That amazes me. You wanted him out of here, and then you followed the Detroit Rams. When I say you, I'm talking in a broad sense. Everybody, Detroit Rams shirts selling out in your local stores. Come on, man. Listen, I'm not for cheering for guys when they're not with my team. But, I might have to peek and see what JG doing. If he get traded, I might have to peek on the sideline. I might have to keep that to myself. I really might. Because I guarantee you he goes and win a Super Bowl. That's crazy. DeAndre Swift is no longer with this team, and now he about to go to the Super Bowl most likely. Or get really, really close. That's funny to me. Listen, you either like him or you don't. But I would rather say, you know what, man? I would rather somebody come up to me and say, you know what, dude, I don't like you. I'd be like, dang, that's out cold. But at least you kept it 100. Why don't you like me? I don't have a reason. Wow, that's stupid, but at least you told me the truth. But finding flaws in a guy that our previous quarterback was the same way. He was the same way. Matthew Stafford, the year he won the Super Bowl, threw 17 interceptions to 41 touchdowns. And he still won because he had a team around him. His center wound up retiring after they won, and what happened to him? He got a spinal contusion. I'm not laughing at it. I'm just, wow. That's how important one piece is. So, I mean, come on, man. I can't do this anymore. All right, where we at? Eagles going nowhere. So many people to blame, but we're going to focus on one and let everybody else slide. That's the way it is, Grit. People love to forget about the hate they had for Stafford. Dude had to put up 35 for us to win games. Art, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Jared Goff, I know because I was part of it. I was making videos when the trade happened. I was making videos, and from the moment it was announced, Detroit Lions fans hated it. They hated it. And it's okay to say that, but be real with yourself. Be honest with yourself. So anyway, let's move on to a different topic. So it's been floating around the internet that a certain Detroit Lion, another one we can't seem to let go, that he was rumored to have reached out to the city, to the team, to come back. A guy that I said would never return by the name of Ndamukong Suh. Now, again, this is not, I have no confirmation of this. Somebody brought it up, and I do know where it came from, but I don't know if that is confirmed or not. Ndamukong Suh was rejected by the Detroit Lions. Let me ask y'all a question. Okay, do you think that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and their vibes comment, they don't want to break up the chemistry of the team, do you think that will lead to their inevitable downfall? Do you think that? Or I'm sorry, eventual downfall, because inevitable seems like it's going to happen. Eventual or potential downfall. Do you think that will play a part? Supposedly Ndamukong Suh was told to go kick rocks. Do you think that is the case? Boyd says yes. Joseph says no. Gigantobyte says no. Brad Holmes needs choir boys. Okay. All right. So we passed on Jalen Carter, kind of like the next iteration of Ndamukong Suh. Got a scoop and score in last night's game. A scoop and score. So allegedly, reportedly, we rejected Ndamukong Suh. Now, I don't think he has a place on this team based off of what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes look for in guys, right? I'm going to be honest. I don't want him. When he was here, he was a dog. He was a dog. There's no doubt about it, but he was a dirty dog too. He used to cost us position on the field. For every good play he made a boneheaded play, stepping on people, kicking people, and then trying to act like he ain't do nothing. So I don't want any part of that, but would you have taken Ndamukong Suh back? Patty says, yes, Brad Holmes is to blame for the lack of defensive talent. We're going to talk about him as well. Brad Holmes, please don't become Martin Mayhew. Yes, I get getting good guys for the culture, but at some point you need studs. Passing on Suh hurts our chances this year, but helps our chances long term by keeping the culture of giving all your guys, giving your all for MCDC. Well, allegedly, he also reached out to multiple teams. So we weren't, and I would have never thought that the Detroit Lions would be on his radar ever. This guy has never wanted to come back here. Now, we haven't really given him a reason, but from the moment he left 9 years ago, he's never wanted to come here. So I didn't really see it happening, but apparently, allegedly, he wanted to return. So I don't know. I think Holmes and Campbell will be here for a while, no matter what happens, because the Fords love for them. Wow. Okay, that's a different subject. Chemistry, as of right now, in the locker room is not winning us games for the last few games. Holmes passed on better talent and goes for only yes men. Wow. Yeah, no Suh. He's a merc for hire. That's funny. So the question was, and I should have put up a poll, do you think that their unwillingness to bring in that bad boy, to bring in somebody that might, throw off the culture a little bit, throw off the locker room a little bit, do you think that's going to lead to their inevitable downfall? Let me know. All right, now shout out to my guy, The Dern. He told me this. I didn't listen to anything press conference related yesterday because I didn't want to hear it. When the Lions lose, I get into a funk. When I was younger and before I had, my son, I just became a husband and had my son. And when I was married to my first wife, I try to really shake what happens. Like the Lions would affect my entire Sunday. Then when he was born, I said, okay, you got to be a father before you're anything else. Obviously, you know, I didn't, with my wife, I was the same way, but it was difficult. But when he was born, it was just like, okay, you have to shake out of this. And now I got so used to kind of shaking things off. But when the Lions lose, I take it personal. I take it really hard. I can't listen or watch anything. So I didn't see this, but shout out to my guy, the Dern. According to the press conferences yesterday of the Detroit Lions players, it appears as though Aaron Glenn may have lost the locker room, may have lost that defense. When that happens, it's time for you to go. So did Aaron Glenn lose the locker room? According to comments from John Kaminsky, he may have. He may have. So now it's time to go. Dan Campbell has to make a decision. It may not be this year. But the thing I keep going back to is you demote Anthony Lynn in the middle of the season. You had way less talent than you have now on offense, but yet you demote him, right? Miserable. Lions hadn't won a game. And I want to say it was after the Rams or so in week 6 or 7 that Anthony Lynn was demoted as offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Okay. And he had nobody on offense. No one. DeAndre Swift couldn't stay healthy. Lions are coming off 7 draft picks from the draft. Nobody. Tyrell Williams. Rashard Perriman didn't make the team. Kadero Hodge. Those are his receivers. And a up-and-coming Amon-Ra St. Brown. Anthony Lynn got 0 time. Was demoted. The next year, guess what happens? Aubrey Pleasant is fired, quote, because something needed to change. Now you go into year 3. Aaron Glenn just keep calling stinker after stinker after stinker. And we have the best talent that we've had this entire time that he's been defensive coordinator. Brian Branch, Jack Campbell, Aiden Hutchinson. We got guys on that defensive line. In defense, we still need more, but we got guys. You would say that he has a much better. We don't have any Chris Boards, any Juju Hughes, any Jeff Okudas, any Amani Ararie. Okay, we lost Emmanuel Mosley. We lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Next man up. How long are we going to give Aaron Glenn before we show him the door? Now, I talked to one of my guys today, and they were saying that maybe Sheila should step in. And I say no. That's the last thing we want. Sheila put the guys in place to make the football decisions. She writes the checks. She shows up in moments of good faith, right? Like when the Lions were 1-6 and she came out and said, we got the guys in place. I truly believe that. And what do you know? We trade TJ Hawkinson and we turn that thing around. 8-2 in our last 10. Sheila doing exactly what she's supposed to do. Stay out of it. But you put guys in place to make those decisions. Brad Holmes can't make the decision. It's got to be Dan Campbell. When have we had enough of Aaron Glenn? To me, the time has passed. My breaking point was the New Orleans Saints. You scored 21 points. 21 points in 7 minutes. Offense is rolling. You let them score 28 after that. The offense put up 12 points. Your offense is going to crumble eventually. The offense is going to run into bad stretches. Why am I blaming Aaron Glenn over Ben Johnson? Because if the offense falters, we lose. But the offense wins us games consistently. The Chargers, the offense. The offense didn't give up a 4th and 1 to Keenan Allen that turned into a touchdown. The offense doesn't give up that stuff. They have to go out there in that very same game. The Detroit Lions had to go for it on 4th down to secure the game because their defense can't stop anyone. It is time for the Detroit Lions to move on from Aaron Glenn. How long is it going to take? That's what I want to know. As soon as AG snapped at that reporter for using the word adjust, I knew it was time for him to go. Reading comments from YouTube, MCDC won't fire AG because he doesn't want everyone being more worried about losing their job than winning games. Okay, Okay, directed. That might be a good point. But where was that for Aubrey Pleasant last year? Where was that for Aubrey Pleasant? When those guys in the backfield and the defense and the team, you know what they fired him for? They fired him to show that no one was safe. And guess what? It changed. So that's actually, it's a horrible idea. Nobody should be, if you are lacking at your job, you're not going to be safe either. So something need to change. And this offseason, expect a change at defensive coordinator. And I'm going to tell you what, just like the symbiote suit from Spider-Man, eventually Aaron Glenn is going to bleed into Dan Campbell, and they're going to be connected. They're going to be connected. They had a show back in the 80s called Who's the Boss? Was it Tony or was it Angela? Never really knew who's the boss, or was it Mona, right? But in this case, Dan Campbell is the boss of Aaron Glenn. And he going to have to let him go, because eventually Brad Holmes might have to step in and say, hey, player, I'm going to need you to fire your homie. Okay. And I'm going to keep it a buck. That's why you don't go into business with your homies. You don't go into business. You don't hire your homies. Otherwise, you're going to be pouring one out for your homies when you fire them. So it's time, man. It's time for Aaron Glenn to be shown the door. I don't want to hear it. And if he somehow makes it to the 2024 NFL season as defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, there's no excuses. I'm talking about if we are not the number 3 defense overall in the league in the first 4 weeks of the season, he's fired. He's fired. Let me know. I agree, though. I want him to fire AG and elevate Kelvin Shepard. Hey, it worked last time. What's up, KD3? Says, I've been saying AG needs to go. Inability to prepare for a single mobile QB, given how normal they are now, is inexcusable. Yeah, it was watching Justin Fields like wiggle his way out of potential sacks. I'm like, oh my God, man, what's happening? And Denver, Russell Wilson gonna wind up doing the same thing. He gonna wind up doing the same thing. What's up, Plan B? Says our offense lost the game for us yesterday, not the defense. I disagree. Our offense lost us the game yesterday. I disagree. You speak the truth. That's why I love your show. Diehard Lions fan, Jerome. I appreciate that. This is why I disagree with you, bro. Because we can't stop nobody. Nobody. So what, Jared Goff fumbles? You know what a real defense does? Holds people to 3 points. That's what they do. That's what they do. That's what a real defense does. They hold people to 3 points. Our offense didn't jump off sides on a 4th and 13. Our offense didn't do that. Our offense did not allow or tell Jerry Jacobs to get burnt every single week. Every single week. Just like the offense can put the defense in a bad position, the offense literally has to work the field in order to get back into games, bro. And obviously, I'm not directing this towards you. What I'm saying is, nope. They had a bad day, yeah, but you still can't let up. How come? So wait a minute. The Bears defense won us. So which one, if you're a Lions fan, which one won the game for the Detroit Lions? Did the Chicago Bears defense win the game, or did the offense win the game? Or was it 50-50? Let's hope AG gets a head coaching job. Yeah, that ain't happening. Somebody be dumb. You know what? Send him to Carolina. Send Aaron Glenn to Carolina so he can talk to Tepper like that. Tepper he'd have him control real quick, because you know Tepper run the show over there. The defense has been losing us games for years. Last 2 cakes, Brian Flores defense gave up 12 points. This is his first year coaching Vikings defense. AG isn't great, but he is set up to fail. Our defense is just a bunch of below average players. Okay, Hunt, you. So we're going to give him a break because he's set up to fail. But because we got some players on offense, we're not going to give Jared Goff a chance. On the subject of Aaron Glenn, can we send Jerry Jacobs out the door with him, please? KD, it ain't happening, bro. Okay, Rocked On talked about how MCDC called the plays until week 10. Yeah, him and I talked about that last night. And we ranked as the top offense, and they gave the reins to Ben Johnson. Do you think MCDC can call defensive plays? He probably could. But yeah, I might be on with Rocked On later today. Joey says our defense is what it is, but for us to compete, the strength of your team has to be the offense. And they have been wildly inconsistent since the Chargers game. It was 70% Bears O, 30% Bears D. Lions killed themselves on offense by stopping the run when play action isn't established. Goff isn't the same QB. Lions D just got killed. Can't find a win on either side of the ball. They miserably failed as a team. Jerry Jacobs needs to change his bio from lockdown corner to burnt toast. Yeah. No, he isn't special, but Brad isn't helping him. He working with what he got. Give AG a break because he doesn't have the right players. Didn't give DC from old regime a break. What's different now? Jacobs has no business in the NFL starting defense. MCDC need to call the offense. Well, like I said, I'll probably be on with Rocked On later tonight for a few. And we'll talk about some things that's in the works. But, you know, here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. The thing about it is the Lions lost yesterday, opened a lot of eyes. And you got y'all see the meme where the dude is like jumping off he's faking jumping off the balcony and he's faking doing some other things. That's the Lions fan base right now. They are, I think now the reality is that, you know what? Hold on. I got one more segment, bro. And we'll get to the point. In the offseason, I'll work in some segments and some actual, you know, a structured show, and we'll take phone calls. But I got a thought. So I got a question for the people in the chat. And if you're listening to this in podcast form, think about this on your drive home. I got a question. All right. The Lions are 9-3. They're 9-3, or they're 8-3. They play the New Orleans Saints. They're up 21 points in 6 minutes and 45 seconds. They then barely win the game. Offense has to win then the game by converting a third down to win the game. And when we won that game and improved to 9-3, when I and other people in the fan base were a little bit leery and critiquing the team, the response that I got and that most of the fan base had was, we're 9-3. We're okay. All right. And my favorite thing in the whole world to say about your Detroit Lions is we are ahead of schedule. And I hate it. I hate that. I think it's perfect for Detroit Lions fans because most of us are miserable. We've never won anything. Therefore, we are okay with being, quote unquote, ahead of schedule. Who said we was ahead of schedule? Who said that? Did the Jacksonville Jaguars think they were ahead of schedule when they had the first pick in the draft and then went and won a home playoff game? I don't think so. Did the San Francisco 49ers in 2019 draft Nick Bosa number 2 overall and then go to the Super Bowl? Yeah, they lost, but they got there. Did they think they were ahead of schedule? And right now, San Francisco won 5, dropped 3, won another 5 in a row. And guess who the Super Bowl favorites are right now? But the Lions are ahead of schedule. Why? Because we'll get them next year. Brad and Dan said this was every single time, man, the goalpost moves. It was a 3-year real. Next year, I'm going to hear that we are in year 4 of a rebuild. Where I swear, bro, we're the only team that says we're in year 4 of a rebuild. Are we kidding? Is this a real Detroit Lions thing? That we're in year 4 of a rebuild. What are we going to be next? Year 5 of a rebuild? In addition to that, why is it that only Lions fans believe that next year we going to get there? You know what? We're ahead of schedule. And next year when our schedule is harder, when we have no idea who's going to be hurt, we have no idea who we're going to draft. We have no idea if Brad Holmes is going to actually get somebody who can make a difference on this team, but we're going to go further. Is it because we've consecutively been better? Okay, cool. We go from 3-13-1 to 9-8 Now we are potentially, at worst case scenario, 9-8. That would be a catastrophic failure if that happened. And somebody gonna have to pay the price. But why is it okay? Why are we in year 3 of a rebuild? Why are we ahead of schedule? Because what? You think these guys, you think Hutch and Kaminsky and Goff they're going to go home and pack their bags at the end of the season and say, you know what? We overachieved this year. We overachieved this year. There's no such thing as overachieving. You either got it or you don't. That's it. You don't know what's going to happen. Look at the Minnesota Vikings, 12-5, 11 one-score games. This year, lose their quarterback. They start 1-4, and they're right behind us in the playoffs, in the playoff race. But we're ahead of schedule. I'm telling you, we should demand better. We deserve better, and stop settling for mediocrity. That's our problem. We're used to it. So I thought about this the other day. I said, does the Lion fan base know what it feels like to win? Because we're used to being miserable. So here's what I want to say. We beat the New Orleans Saints, and we're 9-3, and we're okay, right? Most of us saw, or some of us saw, how that game was looking. Defense was going to be a problem. Can't be up 21 points in 7 minutes and then barely win the game. But this week, oh man, we lose the game and now the sky is falling. Now you have those same people saying we are not going to make the playoffs, which is ridiculous in my opinion. We go from a 99% chance to a 0% chance because we lost. Where were you at this time last year? Was it because we won and it was covered? Is that why? Notice how I raised the voice. That means those are not rhetorical questions. Those are actual questions. Is it because we won? Is that why? Is that why everything was okay? We're 9-3. We're 5 games over 500, but we're not going to win another game. That's what I'm seeing on social media, that the Detroit Lions are not going to win another game. What are we doing? What are we doing? So let me know. Where are those people? Which one is it? Are we ahead of schedule? Is it because that's what we want to be? Is it because we tell ourselves that to make ourselves feel better about what we lack or the fact that we can't truly compete? Which means that next year, there's no talking. Lions going to come out and dominate from start to finish. It's amazing how the San Francisco 49ers dropped 3 in a row and nobody batted an eye. We lose 1. We haven't lost 2 games in a row in almost 15 months, but yet we are the ones that are frauds. Think about that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room before we wrap the show up. I saw a comment real quick, and I want to address that. Where's the elephant in the room comment? If somebody, okay, here he is. Jerry says, we need to address the elephant in the room. Something has to be done with the defense. Talk about that. Well, Jerry, you late, big dog. I've been talking about it the whole show. So you late, my brother. I would suggest that you rewind this and you listen to it from the very beginning, because I literally have been talking about it the whole show. All right. So with that being said, okay. Well, we got RG. RG in the building, a late arrival, says, getting here late, worried about Denver defense, number 1 in takeaways. Russ can run. AG and JJ will put wide receiver Sutton. AG will put JJ on wide receiver Sutton instead of Cam. DC versus mentor, 0 rush. Ragnar out, positive, or trying to be positive is hard, though. Here's what I'll say. The Lions are going to be tested this week, and we'll wrap up the show. Lions are going to be tested. Dan Campbell said something that was like, whoa. He said in his press conference today that Sean Payton is going to try to embarrass them, to destroy them. It was something along those lines. And he said it with a serious face. It was no joking involved. He said, I know he's going to try to expose us, destroy us, whatever he said. I'm like, whoa. I mean, did not bat an eye. Was dead serious. He said, I got to have these boys ready, and I will. This is going to be the mentor bowl. Like, Dan Campbell is trying to win this game. He know what's on the line. So I don't know, but I tell you what, Lions got to do something, or it will be a long 4 games. But with that being said, check this out, man. This is our first inaugural podcast. Let me know what you thought. Again, this is designed more for YouTube than podcasting. So we're going to see if we can kind of tap into some unlimited space here and see how we can make the show a little better. So let me know. What do they say on these podcast things? Rate the show, give us 5 stars or whatever you see fit, and we'll go from there. Thank you. And we're on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And hopefully we'll get this thing going, man. All right. So there is that. Okay, hold on. Let me see something. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to check that out and see if I can listen to the podcast. So listen, some housekeeping stuff. Okay. I will be at the Minnesota game. Shout out to JBL, man, the subscriber, caller in to the show. I will be at the Minnesota Viking game week 18. Okay. And we got some other stuff planned as well. Rocked on. I'm going to holler at you, bro. Cause we gotta have a conversation, cause I got something brewing that could be big. If you are going to go or be in town for the Lions week 18 game or their inevitable playoff game, because they will be hosting one, there's no way they lose to the Minnesota Vikings. They drop 2. And they got an opportunity to win the division on the road with a Green Bay loss, because they can take care of Minnesota and win the division. So we'll go from there. But keep an eye, subscribe to the channel. Again, we're trying to compete with Woodward. I'm going to expand and hopefully get some guys on here, man, that can talk multiple sports. So we are in year 2 of this thing. I think I launched in January or the end of 2022. I think I launched. So anyway, you guys are awesome, man. Have a great Monday. Enjoy Monday Night Football, and I will catch you in the next live stream.